So we understood what are magnets and what are their magnetic properties. So today we are going to learn more about magnetism. Let us understand what is a magnetic field. We learned about electric field too in the previous lesson. So in this lesson we are going to learn about what is a magnetic field. Let us take a bar magnet with its north and south pole like this. Then we have the influence of this bar magnet all around it. The space around this bar magnet, until which its effect can be detected, its effect can be felt. That space is called as magnetic field of this bar magnet. The space around the bar magnet up to which its effect can be detected, its force can be experienced. That space is called as magnetic field of this bar magnet. How can we find out up to what extent this bar magnet has its field? To understand that, let us take one more bar magnet or a compass needle. If you bring that compass close to this bar magnet, let us suppose up to this point, where we have the field of this bar magnet is here, which is shown with the dotted lines. And let us, we don't know that it is up to here, we want to find out. So let us bring a small compass close to this bar magnet up to this point. And whenever the magnetic compass is brought close to any magnetic material, it gets deflected, we know that, due to the magnetic field. So here, if we find any deflection in the magnetic needle in this compass, we can say that the field of this bar magnet is present even at this point. But here, let us suppose there is no deflection. There is no deflection in the needle. That implies its influence is not there on the compass needle. That means it has no field up to this point. Let us bring further close to this bar magnet. Let us suppose I brought that needle up to here. Okay. So since south pole is here, north pole gets attracted towards this north pole. So here, if you see any deflection in the needle after coming close to this point, then we can say that the field of this bar magnet is present at that point. That means till that point we have the magnetic field. From which point this magnetic needle experiences a force due to which it gets deflected, then we say up to that point this magnetic bar, the bar magnet, has a field around it. So this field, this space around this bar magnet, we call it as a magnetic field. As we know, like electric field, which we learned in the previous lesson, that electric field is a vector field, as well as this magnetic field is also a vector field. What do you mean by vector field? Vector field is nothing but it is the field which is having magnitude as well as direction. Magnitude as well as direction. So this field has, this magnetic field has magnitude as well as direction. What do you mean by magnitude and direction? Magnitude in the sense it has the strength, it has its influence up to that point. Okay, and we know this influence decreases as you go away from the bar magnet. It cannot be infinite. It has a finite field. So this, as you go away from this bar magnet, the influence of this bar magnet decreases. That means to say the strength of the force which is exerted by this bar magnet decreases as we go away from it. That means to say the magnitude of this vector field decreases as as you go away from the bar magnet. And what do you mean by direction? Every magnetic field has its own direction at every point. Point to point the field direction may change, but at one particular point it has one particular direction. In one particular direction it acts. So we call this field as a vector field. To understand what is this magnetic field and how can you say that it is a vector field, how can we identify this vector field, let us understand about magnetic field lines. These magnetic field lines are also called as lines of force. Lines of force. These magnetic field lines are the imaginary lines drawn around the bar magnet through which a unit north pole moves. North pole of the compass needle moves. How can you draw this? It's very simple. Take a paper and fix it to a cardboard and place the bar magnet at its center. Let us suppose this is the north pole of the bar magnet and this is the south pole of the bar magnet. Now bring the small compass needle close to this north pole. Let us suppose I kept the compass like this. In this we have a magnetic needle and that magnetic needle is like this. The shape will be like this. This is the arrowhead, this is the tail. Arrowhead is the north pole and tail is the south pole. Okay. So when you keep this close to this bar magnet, since we are placing close the north pole, so the north pole of this tiny magnet will be repelled. So it will be away and south pole is close to this. In which direction this arrowhead is showing, keep one dot there. And again to this dot coincide the south pole of this bar magnet. The south pole of this magnetic needle. Again the north arrowhead it will show. So take this arrowhead dot again. Again put the needle. So we get like this. So as you move, we will get so many dots and it will end up near the south pole. So we are getting so many dots like this. These dots represent the path of the north pole around this bar magnet. So if you join all these dots, we get a line. So we call this as the locus of all these lines. So when you join all of them, we get a line like this. Since it started from north pole, okay, so I am putting the direction from north to south. So I got a line through which a unit north pole is moving. Okay, this line is an imaginary line. So we have drawn, we imagine that this is the path of the unit north pole in this field. So this line is called as magnetic field line or lines of force. So we got one line like this. Similarly, you can put in any position and you will get many more lines this way around this bar magnet. And if you see, all these are directed from north pole to south pole, north pole to south pole, and they are coming and ending in the south pole like this. So you will get infinite lines of force around the bar magnet. You can draw any number of field lines. If you see here, near the end of the bar magnet, near the poles, all these field lines are grouped. They are very close to each other. And they are not crossing each other, they are not touching each other, but they are very close to each other and they are grouped. More number of field lines are present near the poles. And if you see, as you are going away in the same unit area if you take, in that unit area you are having less number of field lines in the middle, almost middle of the bar magnet. Again, if you come to the other end of the bar magnet, close to the south pole, where all these field lines are grouping together, crowded, and they are more in number. Okay, so these field lines are useful to understand the strength of the magnetic field in any particular area. Not only the strength, that means the magnitude of the magnetic field, but also we can identify the direction of magnetic field at any particular point. The grouping of field lines indicate the strength of the magnetic field. More the field lines, more the strength. If you see near the poles field lines are more, that means to say strength of the magnet near the poles is more when compared to the center of the bar magnet. Okay. Similarly, if you want to find out what is the direction of magnetic field at any point in the field, let us suppose I am taking different points. Let us take one point here P, one point here Q, one point here. Let us suppose R. Okay, at this point P, I want to know what is the direction of magnetic field. To understand that, we have magnetic fields around the bar magnet. So you have to simply draw a tangent. Tangent is a straight line which cuts the curve at one single point. So you have to draw a tangent to the curve at that point. The tangent direction says the direction of magnetic field at that point. So here at this point P, the magnetic field is directed this way. Okay. Whereas if you take the point Q, here the Q, the field line is, the direction of the field is like this. Point R, the direction of magnetic field is downwards. That means that from point to point, the magnetic field changes its direction. But at one single point, it has a particular direction. That's why we call this magnetic field as a vector field. So to understand this, we are taking the help of magnetic field lines. So these magnetic field lines are very useful to us to understand what is the strength of the magnetic field at any area, in any area, and also to identify the direction of magnetic field at that particular point. These two are very important. Let us understand what are the properties of these magnetic field lines. Properties of magnetic field lines. First property, as I said, grouping of field lines or crowded field lines. Grouping of field lines says about strength of the magnetic field. Strength of the magnetic field. Secondly, a tangent drawn to the field line. A tangent drawn to the field line indicates the direction of magnetic field at that point. Magnetic field at that point. So these are the two different uses of the magnetic field lines, and these are the properties of the magnetic field lines too. If you say, you can draw infinite field lines around this bar magnet, but they never cross each other. They never cross each other because magnetic field is a vector field. What happens if any two field lines cross each other? For example, here I have a field line. One field line is like this. I have one field line like this. And at this point P, I am taking another field line. Let us suppose it crossed the other field line. It doesn't happen. Let us imagine that two field lines crossed each other at a single point P. Then for these two field lines at this point P, we can draw two tangents. One is like this, another one is like this. Tangent 1, tangent 2. And we know these tangents indicate the direction of magnetic field at that point, at a single point. And previously I said at one single point a magnetic field has one direction. But due to the crossing of the two field lines here, at this single point, the same magnetic field is having two directions, which is not possible. That's why they never cross each other. They never cross each other. Field lines never cross each other. Remember this. And if you observe these field lines, when we have done the experiment with a tiny magnet like a compass, magnetic compass, we have seen that compass has moved from north to south outside the bar magnet. That means to say the magnetic field lines always emerge from the north pole and merge in south pole. Emerge out from north pole and merge in south pole outside the bar magnet. Whereas inside the bar magnet, they move from south to north. They move from south to north. Outside the bar magnet, the field lines are coming from north pole and ending at south pole. Whereas inside the bar magnet, they are moving from south pole to north pole. Okay? Unlike electric field lines, magnetic field lines are closed continuous curves. They are closed continuous curves. If you take a single field, then they are like this. They are closed continuous curves. They are starting from north pole outside the bar magnet and coming to the south pole. Whereas inside the bar magnet, they are south pole to north pole. So they are always closed continuous curves. And this is another property of the field line. These properties of the field lines are very, very important. Okay. These magnetic field lines are also used to represent the types of magnetic fields. The magnetic fields can be like uniform or non-uniform. Uniform magnetic field or non-uniform magnetic field. The uniform magnetic field is represented with the magnetic field lines where all the field lines are unidirectional. Unidirectional means they are directed in one particular direction like this and equally spaced and parallel to each other. All the field lines in the uniform magnetic field, there are parallel lines and unidirectional. The representation of this is called as the uniform magnetic field. This is the representation of the uniform magnetic field. Sometimes in the examination they ask you, draw the uniform magnetic field with the help of field lines. Then you have to draw this figure. Okay? And coming to the non-uniform magnetic field where either the strength changes or the direction changes or both can change. Then we say that magnetic field as the non-uniform magnetic field. And the non-uniform magnetic field is represented like this. The directions are changing. One is going like this, one is going straight, another one is going down. So the direction is changing, strength is also changing because they are not equidistant and they are not parallel to each other. So the magnitude is also changing here. So either magnitude or direction or both will change. Then we say that magnetic field as the non-uniform magnetic field. So I am going to give you one exercise here. In the examination point of view, this is very, very important. You have to analyze the figure. I have a bar magnet with its poles X, Y, X and Y. We don't know what are those poles. And one more bar magnet is kept close to that with R and S, PQ, otherwise PQ, take as PQ, PQ. Okay? PQ. So here in the figure, they have shown the magnetic field lines like this. Magnetic field lines like this. What they indicate? What they indicate? If you observe here, they are repelling each other. They are moving away from each other. And we know that the like poles always repel each other. So the magnetic field lines here are repelling each other is nothing but similar poles are facing each other. So Y and P either may be a south and south or north and north. But furthermore, very clearly we can say that by seeing the arrow marks here, arrow marks are shown outwards. Outwards in the sense they are emerging out. Emerging out is possible only from the north pole. That means to say this Y is not a south pole, P is also not a south pole. So definitely they are north poles. They are the north poles. Instead of showing the arrow marks outside, if I draw the figure like this, inside. Inside, they are repelling each other, but field lines are coming inside. Then we can say these two are south poles, similar poles and south poles too. On the other hand, I have a figure like this, YP, okay, and the field lines are this way. Then what are those two letters represent? What kind of poles they are? So since if you see the field lines are emerging from one pole and merging at another pole, that means to say both are dissimilar poles, opposite poles. But what we need to know? This not means either it can be north and south or it can be north and south. So it can be anything. How to identify which one is north, which one is south? By seeing the arrow marks again. If you see here, the arrow marks are from Y to P. Y to P. Y to P is in the sense it is from north pole to south pole. That means that Y represents north pole and P represents south pole. In that way, you have to analyze the given figure and identify what is what. So this is also very important for the examination point of view. Thank you, children.